I'm a PhD student and speech-language pathologist in Arizona, and just want to share with you some of our work using AAC with late-talking toddlers. Couple of disclosures. Mary is funded, Dr. Alt is funded by the NIH, and I am funded by the GBC Foundation, the Grünwald Blitz Foundation. So today I want to talk to you about a couple of, just to make you aware of some potentials for using AAC with late talking toddlers, some parameters of who might be best as far as who those late talking toddlers are, and then some protocol that we've used with some success. So just to get on the same page, who are late talking toddlers? They are children who are late to talk. Generally, we define these as kids who are 24 to 36 months. They have low vocabularies according to the MacArthur-Bates Communication Development Inventory. They have no other diagnoses or obvious explanations for why they're late to talk. And we think that it's estimated that it's 10 to 20% of children who are late talkers. And why do we want to use AAC for late talkers? Generally, there's the idea that late talkers, most of them will grow out of it or catch up with their typically developing peers, but they don't always grow out of late talking. We have followed up with some of the toddlers that were in our study previously, now that they are school age, and roughly half of them continue to be in the impaired range. We want to help those that won't catch up, and we don't know who those are yet. Also, late talking can have negative effects in the moment while they're still late talking, or while they're still toddlers. For example, they have more intense tantrums, and right now they need support as toddlers. So the literature has been starting to warm up to using AAC with these younger kids, including toddlers, but usually the focus is on those kids that have more complex needs. Of course, this is very necessary and appropriate, but we think that lack of the lack of literature here helps, makes it so that clinicians may not see late talking toddlers as a group that could benefit from AAC or using AAC therapeutically even. So as we know from other talks as well, that speech is not inhibited by AAC. There's a systematic review. This is of all ages, but 89% of cases with AAC intervention actually made gains in speech production, while 0% had decreasing speech production. In a randomized control study with toddlers, the AAC interventions outcomes had more functional vocabulary words than with the speech-only interventions with those toddlers. And they also had more spoken words than with the speech-only. And then when looking with parents, the parents of kids who had the AAC interventions, they improved their perception of their child's success. And that's compared to the speech-only interventions. And they also decreased their perception of the severity of the impairment, which is actually the opposite for the speech-only, who increased their perception of the severity. So what we did, or what we're sharing today, is some case studies that we did with 4 children. They were not successful in our primary study, which is VALT, which stands for Vocabulary Acquisition and Usage for Late Talkers. VALT is an 8-week study, 16 sessions, that is focused on word learning. We target 10 words using principles of statistical learning, which is we have a lot of input, really high dosage. It's also play-based and very low pressure. But they weren't successful with this after 8 weeks. But we did notice that they had really good communicative intent. They didn't seem to fully understand the power of spoken word. We noticed that these kids had a lot of babbling and proto words using ma and pa for everything. And they showed really strong receptive vocabulary. So this is going to be a video of one of our kids. This is during his last session of the 8 weeks of the primary study. And one thing, a couple of, oops, oh, I don't know how that happened. A couple of things to notice is his lack of words, spoken words, but his really good communicative intent.
Here goes my ball. Oh, here goes your ball. Hey, I can try your ball. We can push the ball together, and my ball can sit right here. Our balls can take turns. Put our hands in. I think they're hungry for some candy again. Let's see if we can feed the hungry dinosaur some candy. Oh, this dinosaur is still hungry for strawberry. This purple monster wants some candy. Can you feed the hungry monster some candy?
So what we did was, after the 8 weeks of vault was completed, we invited those families back for 3 to 4 sessions of a trial therapy, a trial treatment, where we included AAC. We started with the same target words that we used during vault, and we stuck those on some single message buttons with pictures and the written word, as well as the recorded message that would play when pressed. So these are similar to like a Big Mac. And then for some of them, after showing those success with that, we added a couple of other words that would help them combine some words. We used a lot of the same vault protocol, including lots of input, lots of showing the kids how to use the buttons, as well as with our speech. And then we modified a couple of things. First, we let the kids acclimate to explore the technology. They were very curious. A lot of them wanted to flip the buttons over or press them with their feet, and we let them do that, while the adults modeled the intentional use of the device, of the buttons, accompanying our speech. And then we added a few more prompts or commands, which in vault they had no pressures, and we just added a little bit more pressure for them to have some expressive output. And then we counted all of the intentional uses of AAC that weren't just an accident, and then anything that they spoke as well. And our outcomes were really good. All 4 children produced multiple single words. All 4 children produced words that they never said during the 8 weeks of the vault treatment. 3 or 4 of them started to put words together and produced multi-word utterances. 3 or 4 of them produced spoken words as well as the AAC productions, and all of our families were really happy with the results. These are some graphs that show the total words that they produced per session. So the purple on the left is what they produced during the vault study. And then once we added AAC, that's where the orange comes in. And you can see with all 4 of these, there was a jump. Even CP in the bottom left corner there, even though his wasn't as extreme, he did move from less than 20 words per session during vault to almost 40, so almost doubling that. And to present this same data in another form, I collapsed all the vault into the purple. So the light purple shows the maximum number of words they ever produced during the 8 weeks. And then the dark purple is the average across those 8 weeks per session. And then the orange is what happened when we brought in those buttons, the AAC. So the light orange is what they produced with the AAC, with the buttons, and then the dark orange is what they said spoken. of note, when we first started with that first kid, LM, we were truly in a trial period and didn't take great data. So there is some missing data there on the third day of AAC, but the results were quite similar to the other 2 days. As you can see, our ST, he only ever used the AAC, but really flew with that, saying almost 140 words intentionally. Not only did they say more words, but they also said a larger variety of words. So again, the 8 weeks is collapsed into that purple bar showing the highest number of unique utterances that they said during one session. And then the pink reddish color is during those AAC trials. So all of them jumped up at least a little at some point with the unique number of things that they were able to say. And 3 of the 4 started putting words together. So they all except the CP that said one multi-word utterance during vault and never again with the AAC. The other few started putting words together, having never said it during or never putting words together during the vault treatment. And then with AAC really started to put those together. The dark is the number of unique, while the lighter color is the total number. So some repeats on those. So I want to show you now that same kid that we saw before, but this is during one of his, I think all of his AAC trials. Some things to look out for are during the first session, his use of hung for hungry, his use of the button after a prompt in the second session, but then following that, a spontaneous spoken arm. And then the visual scanning for the correct button in the third session, as well as repairing the communication breakdowns, which really shows his understanding of the power of the words and finding ways to use it that aren't necessarily guessable for the adults.
Single hungry day. Want Mom to try it? Mom can tell us how hungry she is. Yeah. Looking good. How's Woody doing? What's that? You can tell me. Oh, tell me with a word. Hi. That's right. He needs an arm. Mm-hmm. I'll move this even closer to you. Hi. Yep, I'll hand you an arm. Eat a hungry. This is not a hungry, is it? That's pretty funny. Arm, nice. Very good. You told me what you wanted. How are you feeling? Oh, is it the crocodile who's hungry, or is it Oliver who's hungry? The crocodile. Okay. Then you can feed him because he is so hungry. Here you go. Oh, that's so delicious. Do you want to put it on my shirt? Where do stickers go? Oh, you can tell me. Yeah, use your words. Do you want to put it on my shirt or my foot? Or you can put it on her arm too. Oh, okay. You told me you want to put the sticker on my arm. Do you want something? Oh, I see you're hungry. Mom, you just tell me that. Yeah, because they're always hungry. He's growing, never satisfying that hunger right now. That is so delicious. I think I want to because I didn't want to go. Oh, right, I'm not a chocolate. Oh, Band-Aid. I didn't understand. Band-Aid on Mary's arm. Oh, you can do it. Where should it go? Oh, on the truck? Oh, crap. We'll put a Band-Aid on the truck, just like he said. I'll agree. Maybe. Oh, it's Cookie Monster is hungry. Yes, you are so right. I wasn't even thinking.
I hope you could hear the audio on that. Yeah, okay. So some future directions that we are looking at is that we do have plans to use AAC during our vault study. We did a CART analysis, and it allows us to determine with over 80% accuracy who will be a responder and who won't in our study within the first couple of sessions. So we hope to determine who will be a responder and then jump in with AAC faster. So we can't wait to see what will happen. We're not quite sure what will happen when we start to use AAC earlier, before they have to fail at the 8 weeks of the original study, and then working with different profiles of learners. So all of these had pretty similar profiles with the really high receptive language and the really robust nonverbal skills. So maybe some of those that differ from that, what that will look like, and then using this longer term. So we only ever used it 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 sessions. So what that'll look like with more sessions. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you very much.